Spring training games have sprung, and Diamond Diehards is on. Joe Rizzo here bringing you baseball along with the dog, Jeff Healy. It is, what do we call this? Tuesday Night Live, whatever we call it. We got everything for you. We're going to do a quick hits tonight. But we're changing up the quick. We just change it whenever we want. We're changing up the quick hits because this time quick hits will have a veteran of the day and it will have a diehard dad. So we're gonna keep this one short and snappy. At least we think in our heads that we're gonna do that. We'll cover a few things. Spring training games have started. Yanks, Mets. I don't know. I'm gonna force Dawg to talk about the Pirates for a minute, which is always fun. Jake Odorizzi is still out there. He's a name that we're looking at and. Why? We'll tell you why. Also, a big update on the Strat Elite Media Experts League playoffs. Dawg is going to have to sit through that one, but exciting news, and that's been blowing up our Twitter all over the place. Also blowing up fmsgraphics.com. Go there for all your printing and promotional needs. fmsgraphics.com. Easy to use. Quick to get your stuff. And as we start to emerge from the pandemic, all your printing and promotional needs can be handled over there. We know that already. We've had some of our listeners actually go over there and get taken care of at fmsgraphics.com. And we appreciate that. Follow us everywhere at Diamond Diehards and diamonddiehards.com. We're still building it up, but if you listen on iTunes or you listen on Spotify, that you go right there, get it. We're still working on putting the YouTube stuff up there. So wherever you go, please check us out and subscribe, join our Facebook group, follow us on Twitter. We've been blowing up Twitter lately. We've been blowing it up. So we want you to do that. Follow along, become part of the community. Part of the community that I hail from is I am a proud Bergen Catholic Crusader alumni. And the producer tonight is actually a Bergen Catholic Crusader in the making right now. He's not an alumnus yet, but he's on his way, just getting started over there. That's Xavier Rizzo. And our veteran of the day, nominated by a fellow BC Crusader, Jay Porcelli. I'll give the Italian pronunciation for you, Jay. You guys probably call him Jay Porcelli. Jay Po nominates our veteran of the day. So thank you, Jay. And that, of course, means we're bringing in the dog to take it on from here.
All right, Riz. Yes, a special Diamond Diehard Veteran of the Day is going to be Major Mike Kerns. He's a U.S. Army Special Forces Green Beret, served 14 years so far for the country. MBA from UConn, Holy Cross BA, and again, the Holy Cross Crusader back in the high school days. College pitcher and 14-year Green Beret vet. He now works in medical device sales in Connecticut and is a Little League coach because he hasn't done enough. So now he's going to go out there and teach the kids. So Major Mike Kerns, thank you very much for your service, continuing to give back to the community and to the nation at large.
Deus Vult. That's our Bergen Catholic. It's our Bergen Catholic motto. So, Jake Odorizzi.
Was it like God of Thunder? God of Lightning?
God wills it.
God wills it. There we go.
You were close. You got it.
God wills it with lightning.
I've gotten a lot of support from the Bergen Catholic community. Mark DeRosa, you're on our radar, buddy. Don't think that you're gonna skip away from us. We're gonna have you on here. We're gonna have to drag you into the deep waters of Diamond Diehards at some point.
People.
Yeah,
we're connected. We're connected to the church. Let's put it that way.
We know people. We just don't know that person yet, but we will. We will.
A person.
Yeah. So Dawg, it's a great veteran of the day. Great job, Jay Po nominating there, and we're gonna work on. If you want to nominate somebody, I I did send it out to the BC crew, to give them a little heads up if they want to nominate people, and somebody came through right away. Literally, I think this was yesterday. I put it up there, and somebody came through right away. We're on LinkedIn. I would say that's a good way to contact us if you want to do Veteran of the Day nominations, or we're on our Facebook group as well, Twitter. I mean, any way you want to contact us, you could nominate somebody for Veteran of the Day. We're glad to.
Yeah, that's always even more special, right? When somebody is taking care of another buddy, that's always a nice one.
Oh yeah, it's great. I mean, and it look, I mean it's engaging for us too, right? I mean, I was a nice setup. I mean, it was nice to set it up there for you instead of just, and here's the dog with Veteran of the Day. I mean, it's like yeah,
There you go.
it's good. It's good. It's butter. It's butter. Jake Odorizzi, dog. We were talking about him in the pre-show meeting, and I guess the first instinct is this guy's pretty good. How come he doesn't have a job? And I think that the one article we were looking at was saying he missed the market, but you and I think are in cahoots on this, that we disagree with that, and we think that actually, once teams really start to see that, boy, we could really use another starting pitcher, and we don't have to give up anything except money to get this guy. His offers should probably be pretty strong, and I mean, he's probably able to keep himself in pretty decent shape, even if he's not facing major league hitters. He couldn't be too far off at whatever point he might join somebody's organization.
Yeah, I mean, I would argue, he probably missed the primary market, so to say, like kind of coming into spring training and finding the spot. But now it's kind of smart to not just be like the last guy to sign before spring training. That he can wait and kind of see if someone has a hole, someone gets injured during spring training. You never know. It might be a team that was totally set and is headed for the playoffs, and all of a sudden, boom, they got a hole and they got to fill it. And he's the guy that legit can come in and handle that. In terms of what he gets contract wise and stuff, maybe he's got to take less years. Maybe it's a 1 year. It turns into 1 year prove it for him versus maybe a multi-year contract that he'd be looking for. But yeah, I mean, he's something that should he definitely has talent, and there's always an opening on it. And kind of like you and I were talking before, right? This again is going to be another weird year, right? Maybe nobody goes over 150 innings in this year. I mean, You never know. I mean, some of the horses might be able to, but a lot of people aren't. It's going to be pretty rare, I would say, for guys to get 200 this year. So if that's the case, pretty much everybody needs that extra starter, or they're going to realize in July that they need the extra starter because someone's starting to break down for them. So so I think it's pretty smart on Odorizzi's part, and not just signing an anything contract, and give himself a little bit of flexibility.
Yeah, I think also it depends on which teams it is, and if somebody, I mean, it's inevitable, like that somebody's going to lose a pitcher. I mean, it's not even that you could lose a pitcher to injury this year. You could lose a pitcher to COVID and injury. So that increases the chances that, somebody from a team that's having a pretty good year all of a sudden loses somebody, and they say, "Oh boy, we could throw an Odorizzi in here. Let's do it. Well, how much does he want? Is it prorated? Is it not? We need innings. We need a horse." And then, when you get down to it, he's also the type of guy that you like to have in the playoffs, because he can miss bats. I mean, I know pretty much like every pitcher in the majors this in this day and age, really, it's like a prerequisite to miss bats, and it's so funny, Dawg.
Everyone's got a launch angle of 26 degrees.
Yeah.
Where's Jeff Fry?
Yeah, that's our buddy Jeff Fry. She gone.
She gone.
Go do hashtag she gone on Twitter and check our pal Jeff Fry. And
you do hashtag he gone. That's Mickey
Yeah.
Callaway. Mickey Callaway's hashtag he gone.
That's a whole different show. He should have been gone apparently a long time ago. That's we'll see who else.
He should have been gone.
We'll see who else is gone, because that's another. I mean, geez, baseball, New York politics, everything's a cover up these days. It's a sad state of affairs. Just makes me sad. The whole thing just makes me sad, Dog. I was looking at it today, and I was looking at the Cuomo thing, the disgraced governor of New York. All this stuff's coming out about him, and between the sexual harassment stuff and the killing people by sending them back into nursing homes. It's just so disappointing. Like I don't forget about parties,
Yeah.
politics, whatever. It's just like why can't we just have decent people in these positions of power instead of power hungry people? And then it trickles down through society, right? I mean, it's now Mickey Callaway, what he was doing, was a different version of wielding his power, essentially, right? Like, and it's just disappointing. Like, I'd actually like, I was just upset about it. Like, usually I kind of get mad and I'm like, F this guy, whatever. But today it was like really depressing to me.
Yeah.
I had that little down, moment just thinking about it and thinking about the people that get affected by this stuff. And, I mean, listen, it could be your wife, daughter, sister. I mean,
Yep.
it's that to somebody.
Your
And
perspective changes once you get a daughter, right?
I don't know. Well, I mean, I grew up with three
I mean,
sisters.
it makes it sharper.
So
I would say, right?
yeah, I
Yeah.
grew up with three sisters, so I guess it was always kind of there for me as well. But I don't know. I just never got it. I just never got it.
Yeah.
Anyway, but the whole power stuff. I mean, I had a friend telling me about the nursing home stuff. He actually works in the nursing home business. He's a nursing home exec in the city, New York City, and he's telling me about this stuff literally last May. It might have even been April that he's telling me about this stuff. And he's like, Joe, I'm talking to my CEO. He's like, we're not equipped to do this. We're not equipped to handle these people. And it just, then it made me very angry. And the fact that it's glossed over and not reported, and this guy's glamored up, and he's getting book deals, and he's getting Emmys, and it's just absurd, the whole thing. That's why, Dog, when we see the green grass of spring training and spring training games happening, it's the getaway, right? We could put all that stuff aside, and we could just enjoy some damn baseball. The sound of the bat missing the pitch because the guy's launch angle is too high. It's so refreshing to just see games out there, isn't it?
Yes, yes, 100% is, especially when especially your teams are getting off to a good start. So that's always nice. But yes, it's just good to see us out and about, right? Good to see our fans back in the stands, right? So we're starting
big.
to get into that too. That's huge. I mean, you're listening to what the Rangers are talking. It's like, oh, we had 2,000 in there. It sounded like 20,000 because people are so fired up and just they're so dying for that support and to show the support. So yeah, it's positives. We're gonna get through it. We're getting through it, and it's promises to be a great season of baseball ahead. Again, different, which can kind of be cool. Like we were nervous last year, and it wound up being a kind of cool season last year. As weird and chopped up as everything else as it was, it wound up being a real fun sort of environment. Now this year will be a bit of a hybrid, right, between the regular season and what we had last year.
And to expect the unexpected, right? Like we don't even know. You and I still think they're going to try to slip the DH in on us at March.
I'm giving up on that.
March 31st.
That would be great.
It's so funny to hear you say that. Like me, the American League Yankee fan, saying, "No, I want the DH," and you, the National Leaguer, like for life, saying, "Oh, just give me the damn DH so I could let Dominic Smith play 100 games at first base and Pete Alonso DH." Right?
That's right.
Just let him play the field, dude. He's Dominic Smith. He's my guy.
He's working at it. He's my
guy. I love Dominic Smith. You know it. Okay. The Stratomatic off the field, the Stratomatic Elite Media Experts.
Media Elite.
Elite Media Experts League.
Elite?
I think it is.
I gotta check that. I gotta check this one again.
Elite Media Experts.
Elite Media Experts League. This is why I don't correct Riz. There we go. Stratomatic Elite Media Experts League. As he's reading off the screen, and I'm contradicting.
I'm not. I switched it. I had it.
I had to read off the screen.
Handy dandy notebook, always ready.
EME.
Pre-show notes, pre-show meeting. Write stuff down. It helps a little bit for the old guy. Okay, so Dog, I wish that you had made the play. If we had done
I wish
the two wild cards, like if we had done it as 3 division winners, 2 wild cards, a wild card game, it would have been Yankees Mets and a 1-game wild card.
they
Or
would
they
have
could have done
thrashed me like usual.
they could have done a 3-game wild card
Yeah, I
then,
would
you
have shot
know?
that.
Like
I'd have
you
shot.
would have won the first one and he would have won the next 2.
Actually, that's true. If I could just throw Santana, he actually he did okay against him. Everyone else got shelled.
I know, but and then you never know what you're going to
You
get.
never know. Never know.
Anyway, so here's how it goes. If you want to know like how they came up with this thing, go back a few episodes and listen to that because we did way too much about that. But I did have somebody ask us on Twitter today, and I was going to direct them to that. I'm like, hey, do you like iTunes, Spotify, or YouTube? And I don't think I've heard back from them yet. So I win the Central Division. The Red Sox of Joe Lamire win the East Division, which is where the Dawg was with the Mets. Sweeney Murdy and the Yankees come in second in the East, but they have the second best. They actually had the second best record in the league, so they won the wild card. And John Miller, the Giants broadcaster, his Giants won the West, so they were the second division winner. I finished a game ahead of them with my Cardinals in the Central. So because of these rules, the wild card, if it's from the same division as the top division winner, plays the number 2 seed. So I get the Yankees in the first round instead of the Giants. And long story short, the Red Sox and the Giants and the Yankees and the Cardinals have played 6 games apiece, and both series are tied 3-3. And both road teams won game 6 to force the decisive game 7. Now we are doing this Tuesday night live on March 2nd. So the games will be run off by the Stratomatic 3000. Well, it's probably the Strat 365 computer. Sometime late after this, the live version of this, but maybe before you're actually listening to it. And it's the pitching matchups for the Giants at Boston. It's Jason Schmidt against Tim Wakefield. And for the Yankees visiting the Cardinals, it is Mike Mussina versus the late Darryl Kyle, who has been my ace all season. So that's what it comes down to. And the winners will face off in the World Series, and hopefully it's me. Now, Sweeney Murdy did have a tweet. He actually helped us out because we were tweeting about this, and he's got way more followers on Twitter and way more people who care. He got beaten up pretty bad by the Red Sox during the regular season, and he's looking to cash in a little bit of revenge. However, my Cardinals are doing our best to stand in his way. Dawg.
There you go. So you'll see. Yeah, actually he finished strong versus the Red Sox.
I know.
I think he swept them right at the end. That was part of my part of the knife in my gut. So, but yeah, I mean it's a great one, right? I mean if this is like the legit playoffs, I mean,
This would be
doesn't get more exciting than this, frankly. And
right.
It's 4 great teams duking it out.
Especially when the 2 National League teams are playing the 2 American League teams. And you could have an All-American League or an All-National League or an American versus National League playoff, World Series here.
Yeah, it's like what happens with the Giants if you can't walk Bonds?
He's injured. He's out for game 7.
I know, it's huge. That's huge.
Even worse, Dawg. Eli Marrero, who I slept on and I didn't pick up until like 20 games into the season. I'm like, wait, he's pretty good in the outfield. And I could use a third catcher because I have Yadier Molina and Mike Matheny, and neither one, they're both. Yadier's great defensively and he hits lefties okay. Matheny's like just, he's just good defensively, and I tried to let him bat as few times as possible, but he's actually done okay in like his 6 at bats. He's like 2 for 6 in the series here. So in the first game, Dawg, I'm losing 2-0 to the Yankees. And I get to the 9th, and he has Mariano in.
Game should be over.
And I tie the game with Mariano. Larry Walker hits a 2-run homer to tie it. And then Scott Rowland walks it off. with a homer in the 10th. Scott Rowland, who's done like nothing for me the whole year. Then in the second game, it's 2 homers by Robinson Cano. He's beaten me up. It's like 7. It's 7-1 going into the 8th. I score 2 in the 8th to make it 7-3. I give back 2 in the 9th, so it's 9-3. But I get 3 in the 9th, and I force him. He's got to bring in Mariano to get the save. Then in the next game, I beat him 17-5, and that was Kyle against Musina. So that was. But Eli Marrero gets hurt in the game, and he's going to miss the rest of the series. Now you're like, okay, you got Albert Pujols, you got Jim Edmonds, you got Larry Walker. Eli Marrero has been like the best. He's hitting like 500 for me. Like, he's unbelievable. Like,
plus he's like your guy. There's nothing like pulling a guy out of the pile and having him do well.
And he's a catcher, so it's like he catches against righties and he plays like right field against lefties. It's great.
It's my Todd Hundley.
But he gets hurt. So now I'm like, oh my God, like Eli Marrero has become my guy. And now he's not there. So I got to go back to just having Yadi's defense behind the plate. And of course, game 4, losing again, 4-2, score 1 in the 9th again, lose 4-3, tying run on base. Can't get him through. So I've scored now in the first 4 games, Dawg. I've scored in every 9th inning. How about that? But it doesn't matter because in game 5, the pivotal game 5, as Joe Torre would say, Cardinals and Yankee ties, we blow them out 14-9, and we don't score in the 9th. So through 5 games, I've scored 43 runs. Then the game 6, and it's Pettit against Mulder, and Mulder's been my B ace for the season. Mulder holds the Yanks to 1 run, but I get shut out. So I score 43 runs in 5 games. And then all I need is 2, and I can't get even 1.
Been rolling your card.
And Mariano gets to save again. But this time Mariano gets a 6-out save, 4 Ks, and I don't even get a runner on him. So my goal tonight.
Yet somehow he's going to pitch tonight, though.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, he will. I mean, he's pitched
He's got 3 saves, 3 wins, 3 saves.
Sunday. I don't know how they're doing the days off here, but he's he would be ready. He would be ready because he didn't pitch the previous game, and theoretically there would be a travel day off. Maybe, I don't know, but yeah. So we're in St. Louis where the homers are hard to come by, and the Giants are in Boston where the homers are equally hard to come by. They're also hard to come by in San Francisco. So the homers are going to be hard to come by, except if you're in Yankee Stadium, but which was where game 6 was not. So there was a 1-0 game. Anyway, so I'm very excited. I really, as you know, Dawg, I am competitive with stuff like this. I want to win. By the way, in that game 1,
the text at 12:05 say, "Did you see the results yet?"
AM, by the way, that's what
AM, of course.
Yeah. And most of the time, Dawg's like,
yes.
Yeah, actually, I'm still up.
Just saw that.
But Dawg,
again.
I found the loophole, and with like 1 or 2 series left in the regular season, I was like, oh, I can pick up Troy Percival. So I picked up Troy Percival, but for some reason the computer manager had like never put him in. So he had never debuted until he debuted in the 10th inning of game 1 and got the win. And I don't think he's pitched again yet. Let me actually.
Who's this guy?
Who's this guy? It's only Troy Percival.
And of course, longtime Cardinal, John Smoltz.
Actually, you know what? He doesn't have a card, but his season for the Cardinals was like one of his best years ever.
Wow.
Oh my God. His Cardinal, and same with Percival. I barely remember. I remember
6 games that Smoltz was in.
No, it was more. It was a season. He had a great. Both of those guys had great years as Cardinals. You just don't think of it, but when you're going through it at the time, you remember them. But it's like Emmitt Smith in a Cardinals uniform or J.J. Watt in a Cardinals uniform to cross pollinate sports stuff. Jerry Rice as a Seahawk. You remember that? It happened.
I don't remember that. Wow.
Jerry Rice as a training camp Bronco retiring. How about that? As a Raider, he had a good Super Bowl. You don't
Raider
even.
was, yeah, but Raiders remember him. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so who cares? At this point, I saw other people do it, and I'm like, these guys
Like
are
it's
all.
like Carl Banks in the Browns. It's like, oh. He actually was pretty good in the Browns.
Actually, was pretty good at the Browns.
But it was just a bummer. I'm like, oh, it's just not right.
But listen, I'm
should stay
glad.
here.
I'm glad Joe Lamire didn't try to play that loophole, because he's the only other one who could have stolen John Smoltz from me. But he's already rocking like with Pedro and I don't know all these other guys. His pitching's been great. Kurt Schilling, Derek Lowe actually was like
all four of them are like ridiculous.
Was incredible. But I'm trying to think if he's used Derek Lowe to start. I don't think Derek Lowe started any of these playoff games. He should switch him and start Derek Lowe instead of Wakefield for the last game.
Last one, yeah.
But Dawg, there was one game that was hilarious. It was that fifth game. It was Clemens versus Smoltz. Clemens didn't get an out. I knocked him out. The first 5 batters of the game reached base, and I knocked him out. So I had 5 runs in the first. Then I score 4 more off of, I don't know, somebody. I'll tell you who. El Duque. Then I score 4 more off of El Duque in the second. So I'm up 9-0. I'm up 9-0 in the second inning with John Smoltz. John Smoltz gives up 5 runs in the second inning. Can't get out of the third. Dave Veers comes in and shuts the door. And then we cruise after that 14-9. But I mean, the 9 that I got in the first 2 innings, I did have to tack on. Otherwise I would have blown it from that. So you never know with this Yankees Cardinals series. You just never know what's going to happen, Doggy.
There you go.
Think about that.
That's it will be a nail biter tonight. And we may have to stay up to 12:05.
You know what? I haven't been staying up. I've been for the first games. So the first games, they were running them 2 at a time, and they didn't run.
By the way,
them.
We're totally not quick hitting right now.
I know. Well, I don't know, Xavier. How much time? Xavier? How far in are we? Let's see. Let's see if he's actually listening. Well, I sent him a message. The first 2 games, what they did was they said they were going to be played at Friday, which means like you're looking Friday, after 10 o'clock sometimes, usually after midnight. And it's like, for some reason I was up to like 1:30 Friday, and they hadn't been run yet. I'm like, oh, I guess I don't know. Is it happening? Is it not happening? And then sometime during Saturday evening, I saw the games were there. I'm like, oh. And now you want to make changes based on what you've seen in the first 2 games. And by the time I did that, they ran off the next 2 games. So I'm like, oh man, like, did I screw up? So let's see. Okay. Yeah. We're not doing like such a, Dog, if we keep it under a half hour, we're doing a quick hit. We're still kind of in that. It's as long as it's not an hour, it's a quick hit for us. So, so I couldn't get my changes in for the second 2 games, but I won one of them 17-5, and I lost one 4-3, scoring in the 9th and threatening with the tying run on base. So it's whatever. It's out of my hands. It's out of my hands.
All right, Dawg. Take the wheel.
What do we do to wrap up the shows? Usually we do another
Die Hard Dads.
Another segment of Die Hard Dads. Okay. The beds. This is going to be an update. We'll kick it off with an update to a previous Die Hard Dads segment with the Dawg. Has an update of the Disney beds, I do believe.
The Disney bed is coming in. The mice are pulling the coach as it speaks, heading in here, and it's coming in like a month earlier than expected. So it's coming like in 2 days or so. So the wife tells me, I'm like, oh, it should be great, blah, blah, blah. It's like, yeah, they can't bring upstairs though. I'm like, oh, why can't they bring upstairs? I'm like, I'm sure they're rather big, burly young gentlemen. I'm sure they can get it up the stairs. Oh no, it's not all cleaned up upstairs or whatever else like that. I'm like, oh, so the old guy's gonna schlep the freaking queen size mattress up the freaking stairs instead of the young guys? I'm like, I don't think so. I'm like, I don't care where they gotta stick it upstairs. I'm like, well, fine. Like, I'll start throwing stuff out the window versus get the mattress up there. So it's a little tense right now. It's a little tense on here. It's kind of like I don't know, kind of like the DMZ right now. But we're clearing out, and we're gonna bring in the new bed, and all will eventually be well. But it's gonna be a little tense for 2 days.
Can't Die Hard Dad order his minions to do it?
Yeah, one would think. We'll just try and get to clean the rooms. That'd be good enough. They could do that and make room for the beds. That'd be good.
Unlike when you're in the Army, people just don't listen to your orders.
No, not so much. More of a consultation.
I can get grown people to listen to my orders, but I can't get like a 12-year-old to do it, which is kind of funny and ironic. The other thing is, first of all, it sometimes it's hard to see, but if you're watching on a live stream or on YouTube or whatever, if you're watching live or on demand, if you're watching at all and you're really observant, you could see that the dog and I have both very recently had our haircuts take place, right? Dog going back. Mm-hmm. It's getting shorter and shorter. Me, I had gone a year. That's a previous Die Hard Dads, I think, talked about. I went over a year without getting it cut because 2020, that was my protest. Now I got the first one out of the way. And then this one, I went a little bit shorter, not back to like the buzz that I used to kind of do, but nonetheless, a little bit shorter. So as these things go, one of the things that I've discovered in, pandemic times or whatever is, you can get people to come to your house to cut your hair if you want. So my lovely mother-in-law, Carmela, she lives with us as she has for the last, it's like 11 years now. She has a nice lady that comes over and cuts her hair. So one day I'm like, hey, next time you're here, like, let's do this on the sly. I'm going to get my hair cut, but I'm not going to tell anybody. So we did that and we pulled off that whole thing. And then I was getting ready. I was scheduling her because now, it's a great son-in-law, mother-in-law moment, right? When you could schedule your haircuts together, like most sons-in-law and mothers-in-law do, right? I guess that's a thing, right?
Get started.
Yeah. So you're like, Riz, what does this have to do with Die Hard Dads? Well, here's what it has to do. My sons go to the haircutting place in town where the guy he came from a previous place and he opened like a shop from, he was one of the guys in one of the towns and he was able to break off and do like a subsidiary in my town. So my guys are all high on it because he's the guy that used to cut their hair over there. And now they could just ride their bikes to go get their hair cut. And they get they're on the incentive plan. So if they get 5 people to get haircuts over there, they get their next haircut free. So my son's giving me crap. He's like, oh, why are you using Donna's lady? I go, because she did it the last time and I thought it was good. And she comes here. Oh, well, why don't you go to Mike? I'm like, because I'm going to her. Like, she's going to be here and it's.
There you go. She's coming to you.
She's coming to me. I don't have to, it's less, it's whatever. It's all good. She's going to be here anyway. Yeah. So why not kill 2 birds with 1 stone? Yeah. Well, Mike's trying to build a business over there. You know that? Yeah. Well, did you know that she has a business and she's trying to build her business? I'm like, and he's telling me about Mike and Mike's business. Meanwhile, I'm like, she's got a business too. Like, it's all the same argument. Like, it's just for her and she doesn't have.
Well, one has a monetary incentive for him and one does not have a monetary incentive for him.
Amen. Amen, brother.
He's learning.
So I'm getting this lecture. I'm like, you realize that you could just keep going, but everything you say about him and trying to build a business also applies to her, right? And so she came over and she gave me a good haircut, and I got a double thumbs up from Debbie Rizzo today. So I think that's good. She noticed this one more than she noticed the first one, which I thought sucked because the other, it was really bad. It was long and it didn't look good, which I know on me is difficult because it's a blessing and a curse. Everything always looks good. Hard being the eye candy.
Welcome to life. It's hard. It's very hard.
You're living with the same damn curse, dog.
How do we do it?
I don't know. We just trudge on, and we count the days to St. Patty's Day, which I think from right now is 15. So we're gonna.
I'm gonna save that. There's a good Die Hard Dads follow up for that one.
And it's mostly slurs.
St. Patrick's.
It's mostly just
it's not yet slurs. It's pre-slur.
It's pre-slur? Oh, okay,
it's a prequel.
So we're talking about slurring words, not like any kind of bad slurs.
Correct.
Like,
Yes.
those are good
Yeah,
slurring.
good slur. Good
And
slur.
speaking of that, we got to give a shout out to Boomer and Carol for showing up at Surprise, Arizona on
Yeah.
opening day between the Rangers and the Royals, and taking a montage of pictures for us that we were able to put on the Diehards Instagram and the Diehards Twitter
Fleet.
fleet. Yeah, it's a fleet.
Fleet.
Call it the fleet.
Cutting edge.
I don't think I put it on the groups though. Well, actually, you know what? Carol
Should
could
though.
just
We should do.
Carol should just join the group and just put it on there for us. I think
Yes. Yes, she should.
that's what she should do.
Yes.
And if you haven't joined the group, go join it, because we just we're getting new members left and right. LinkedIn, I kind of like. We broke the 100 mark on LinkedIn, which I didn't see coming. Like I thought that would take like forever. LinkedIn is like ahead of Twitter and Instagram right now. I wouldn't have called that. Facebook is still winning the day.
We're finding a little niche there. A little niche.
I like LinkedIn. I
Niche-
can't wait
niche
till
market.
I can't wait till the show streams live on there, which is I don't know. I sent in a thing for that a long time ago, and it hasn't nothing's come back yet, but we'll see. All right, I think that should wrap it up, Dog, for quick hits. We didn't talk about the Yankees or the Pirates or the Mets, I don't think. So the Mets started play and they lost a game and they won a game. Is that right?
Lost a game, won a game. Strowman was good.
I think the Yankees did the same stuff, and Garrett Cole is pitching to Gary Sanchez, which is interesting, I think. And
Pitch great. Sanchez hit a bomb. Right?
yeah, Sanchez hit a bomb, which is kind of interesting because we'll see. My buddy Glenn just, oh my God, he just hates Sanchez. He thinks he's just so horrible, that he's just like a guy that had a great flash early, but he's the worst defensive catcher in the league, and he just can't hit except for power on occasion, and that they're going to be married to him for too long. I don't know. The jury's still out, but man, he was really bad last year. And I do say, Dog, I give everybody the mulligan for 2020. So we have to see. He's still going to be drafted way too high in fantasy leagues probably. But the thing is, how many catchers that are out there could just hit 30 home runs, even with the humidified ball? He can, I'd say, right?
Yep. Yeah, he's got a ton of power.
Yeah, he's got a lot of power. He's got a lot of power, irregardless, which is not even a word, Dog. So don't use it again. Okay, you got that?
Wipe it out.
And then the Pirates, I thought it was interesting to just. No, actually, nothing was. Nothing was interesting.
With the Pirates,
well, they have Ben Cherington.
Todd Frazier, the Todd father.
They have Ben Cherington, and they have a plan, which seems good. They have Cabrian Hayes, right? Colin Moran at the corners, and they have the Todd father to kind of like pick up the slack between those two guys. But they really like they get a lot of flack online. Like, can you name 3 guys in the Pirates? And I just did, by the way. That's why I just named those 3 guys. I don't know if you knew that. I just did the Twitter thing where I named 3 guys on the Pirates, by the way. Their over underdog is like 58.5. I mean, in that division, there's a lot of
probably the over, because young guys always tend to kind of a little overachieve, right? It's kind of like the Marlins last year, right? You kind of get like the young guys kind of come in general, they'll keep you close for a while.
Their over under is only like 73.5, by the way. I mean, and they were a playoff team last year.
Yeah, I would like to always take the over on the Marlins. The Marlins always wind up, I think, overachieving. At least it feels like it. Maybe it's just because they beat the Mets all the time, but I don't know. They always seem like a lot. They're always like a lot harder competition, you think.
Can you do the over under for like games played just between the two teams? That would be a cool thing to bet. Marlins over 8.5 in their games against the Mets this year.
Over.
Take the over.
Over.
Last year they had it in like their first 9 games against the Mets. I think they kept them out. All right, Dog. I think we wrap it up there. What do you think? Devil game going on. I think that Devil game's calling my name. They have fans in the stands at the Rock for the first time, and I think it's literally a year. And they debuted their alternate third jersey, so I got to see if if Lou is wearing hers because that was her Christmas present.
Nice.
I know our buddy Paul is ripping the Devil Third jerseys, but I like them, especially since I've had one in hand. I think they look pretty cool. So I'm anxious to go see them as well. And I think that means we can wrap it up for a Tuesday Night Live quick hits, Dawg. Any final thoughts?
Nope.
Good. That's the reason why he's the best analyst in the
This
game.
color guy out there.
All right, that's going to do it. Do all the follows, everything we talked about. You know where to find us, diamonddiehards.com, at Diamond Diehards, basically everywhere. YouTube, well, not YouTube. We're not there. We're not that on YouTube, but we're on YouTube. Search for Diamond Diehards, and we're at Diamond Diehards on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, probably TikTok soon. I think we're working on that. I don't know about Snapchat. I know we'll probably work on that. Those two things are basically the same to me. Whichever one of our people does TikTok will probably do Snapchat too. I'm worried about like just getting base hits here. Like we're worried about the other stuff later. That's going to wrap it up for the Tuesday Night Live then. For the Dawg, Jeff Healy, this is Joe Rizzo. Diamond Diehards is out.